Hello, how are you all? Great to see you. Today, I wanted to share with you about a conversation that I had with one of the people that I work with. So, some of you may know that I am a business coach and I work with women that are developing small businesses, and it is so interesting and I love it so much. And I especially love working with the women who are developing businesses around their creative pursuits or their artistic um, pursuits. So, one person that I'm working with right now is amazing, and she is actually a red seal welder. And what she's working on is developing a business around creating this beautiful handmade jewelry. Every piece is different. Like it's incredible. The work that she has is just so beautiful. She's quite young and she hasn't done this before. She hasn't done markets before. She hasn't had an online shop before. So it's so fun to share with her all my trials and errors and all of the things that I've done wrong and all of the things that I've done right as well. So that was really fun. So I wanted to share with you about some of the conversations that she and I have had because I feel like it might be beneficial for others of you that are maybe in the same boat, who are maybe just starting out with your markets or just taking your hobby, your crochet to the next level. So she had signed up for her first market a couple weeks ago, and she doesn't have a lot of stock. So we talked about, well, what can you do if you don't have a lot of stock? And her price points are quite high. So at that time, we had just kind of begun working together. So normally I would say to somebody, if you're going to do a market, make sure you have different price points. So you want showcase pieces, things that are going to draw in a crowd, pieces that will sort of showcase what your skills are. Really important. You don't need probably too many of those pieces because they will be on the higher price point end. Then the middle tier, and then like a lower tier. So, what I have found personally when I am doing markets is that it's those lower tier pieces that go faster. And the reason why I think is because there's a lot of competition, first of all. So, if you're at a market and there are lots of different vendors, um, you know, there's a lot of competition. So unless someone's specifically looking for your pieces or something like your pieces, you have different types of art to sort of compete with. So if you make it easy for people to purchase something from you by having a lower price point, often you'll make more sales. So that's the experience that I've had. And in talking to lots and lots of other people that have done markets, they would typically agree with that as well. So we talked about that. Now she didn't have that. She had just these sort of quite top end, these really beautiful, incredible pieces. So how are we going to display those? Well, one of the first things that we talked about was, having sort of scaffolding almost, so different layers at your table. If people are walking by, they'll see things up here, things here, and then things down here. One really awesome trick that a ceramics artist does that I know is she has very, very delicate clay pieces. It's amazing the work that she does. Her name is Marnie Delver. If you're interested in seeing what Marnie does, I don't even know how she does that with clay, but anyways, she has these PVC pipes, like pieces of the pipe. She'll kind of pop the legs of her table into this PVC pipe. So what that does is it raises the table up maybe a foot or possibly even two, which is helpful for a couple of things. First of all, it brings her pieces up to a higher eye level, so it's easier for people to see, and it keeps little hands off of her work. So when you have really delicate pieces or things that you don't want little hands all over, you don't want a lot of handling, that's a super trick. So that's something to think about. So I did share that with the person that I was working with. And just to go back to those, those layers, it's easier for people to be drawn into your stall or to your table if it's not just flat, just more interesting to the eye And so that's one trick. You can look online and get some really good examples about how to do that and what that looks like. Just back here, I've got these wooden crates and I use those. Those are good. I've got some little shelves, like just super easy, simple little shelves that fit together. And I can just like put 3 layers of items on them. So that's good too. I'll maybe show you those one time. Even having things like this Christmas tree back here. So that one looks really nice if it's up higher and then if it's up on top of something as well. So again, it just gives you those different heights for your display. So that was really interesting. The other thing that you should think about, and I really wanted this person to think about too, was she had a story for every piece that she had. So she had these little silver pieces that she had for sale, and each was unique and handmade, and there were no two that are alike. So she would be inspired by whatever, and then she would recreate that on these pieces. So as a buyer, I would be really interested to know about that. I want to know what has inspired this. What is this? Maybe it's something that I'm familiar with. I love getting handmade things from an actual artist from that area that maybe has a picture of something that I've seen, like a mountain or a lake or the local flowers and animals, like that sort of thing. So, but if they're these little pieces and you don't really know that until you get up close, well, how do people know? How are people going to be able to like really appreciate what you've done? So what we talked about was having almost like a pillar, sort of, where she would then put a piece of driftwood, because she lives close to the ocean, that lucky person. She'd put a piece of driftwood and then she would put her piece on top of the driftwood. And then below that, like on the table, so first of all, she's got this different height going, which is super attractive to the eye, draws the eye in. And then below that, she's got this little framed like description of, and it's handwritten, this handwritten description of what the piece is and what it represents and where it is and all of those things. So she's got some information that she could then give to the person who's buying the item. So think about that. Think about, like, people they want to buy not just the piece. Like if it's a beautiful piece, yes, of course they want it, but also if you tell them about it, like people love that story. So share that story. Along with sharing the story, this person has a really neat business name. And so what they've done is they've combined their grandmother's maiden names together that go magnificently together. And so she's sort of bringing forth the spirit of her grandmas, and I that really appeals to me. Like I really like that because I feel like it's I don't know, it's honoring their spirit. It's I don't know. There's just a real depth to that I really like. I really appreciate it. So as a buyer, I want to know those things as well. And finally, I said to her, "You got to let people know that you're a Red Seal welder, because that's a big deal. It sort of brings another element of depth into her pieces. Having that kind of a background is very unique, and especially as a woman, and especially as a person that's using this very typically male dominated skill and bringing it into such a feminine sort of expression of these beautiful pieces that she's making. So I really love that, and I'm not sure she really appreciates or knows to appreciate how special what she's doing. I'm not sure she appreciates how special that is, but I think she will. I think she's going to get there. So many of us just starting out really do grapple with imposter syndrome. Just advocate for yourself. You have to be your best advocate. What are your goals? Like what do you want to do with your business or with your creative hobbies or the pieces that you make? For myself, I just love doing what I'm doing. I'm constantly thinking about my new designs. I wish I had 10 hands that could crochet all at once and another brain that could write the patterns. And Someday maybe I can hire one of you to help me out with that. So, anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and we will see you next time. See ya!